The Lilies, I've missed you guys. I feel like it's been a while since I've chatted with you, so it is good to be back. I wanted to do this video before Thanksgiving, but things got crazy. How was your Thanksgiving? Did you have a good one? Ours was beautiful. I feel like we kind of had two separate Thanksgiving plans. So we went to a friend's house, and it was really fun for all of our kids and their kids to hang out together. Their older kid, well, I guess all their kids were really good at swing dancing. So our friends, him and his son have like a band, and so they went and played at a pub, and I wasn't feeling good, so unfortunately I stayed home sick, but the rest of my family went out, really enjoyed it. But their 20-something-year-old and teenager were swing dancing, and I guess it was just amazing. It really impressed my kids. They're like, that's so cool. And he was willing to teach, and she also was willing to teach. So she taught my youngest son how to do it, and he taught my older kids. And we were just sitting around. They have a beautiful old log cabin, like 100-year-old house, and it was just beautiful to see the kids learning this really beautiful art form, swing dancing, where I'm not a dancer. I don't really know how to dance. I was of the generation where, I was in high school in the late 90s, early 2000s, and yeah, I don't even want to tell you what our dances were like, but it was like kind of what you saw on MTV, and just lacked a lot of culture and beauty. And so it was really beautiful to see the kids interact like that. And yeah, we just had a good time. I think sometimes we have really well, I got sick right before. So backing up, we had a really busy month. Like I don't know where November went. I cannot believe we're at the end of it. I feel like it just was so fast, and there was multiple reasons for that. But yeah, I feel like it just went so fast. But we had a good Thanksgiving. It was lovely. We hung out with this family, and then we met up with another family in Maryland. So we're in Pennsylvania, Amish country. Love Amish country. I was able to get like delicious raw milk and cheese down the street from like a random guy that had a cooler out. And you just put cash in, you got your milk and your cheese and your eggs, and they were so fresh and delicious. I loved it. But I think it's good when we get to seasons like this, like holiday seasons, to remember what it's all about. So I think I thought of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5. You're welcome. I thought of 5 things to help you not just survive, but thrive this holiday season. I mean, you could apply it to Thanksgiving next year, but really going into Advent and Christmas and New Year's, these are things that I'm trying to be mindful of. I was trying to be mindful of it for Thanksgiving, and I think if we could all do this and be mindful of it, we would just be happier and have a better holiday season. So number 1 is lower your standards. I feel like I say this often, and I think parents. And I know not all of y'all are parents, but those of you that are moms and dads, you're like, okay, this is my standard. This is what I need you to do. This is what I expect of you. And we kind of expect a lot from our kids, as we ought to. Like, we're trying to raise these amazing, beautiful young people. And I think all of us stepping back would be like, objectively, these kids are awesome and amazing. And I'm often in awe of them. But in the moment when you're trying to, so for example, the friend's house that we went to's kids are older. So their youngest is the same age as my oldest. And so there's a debate going on, a philosophical debate at the Thanksgiving table over, I don't even remember what it was, like, was it the morality of swearing? I don't know. It was something that I was like, in the beginning, I'd happily talk about it, but then these guys just go so deep in defining terms and all this stuff. And so my 9-year-old obviously is very restless. And at some point, he's literally crawling on the floor under this long table. We had like, I don't know, 20 people around this Thanksgiving table, and it was decorated beautifully. And he's under the table with the dog and in and out, weaving in and out. And I'm trying to trying to redirect, smile. Our hosts were very gracious and didn't seem to mind. They also have a lot of children, so I think it was fine. But it was one of those that I'm like, I could have like totally freaked out. I'm like, you need to sit in your seat. Get in your seat. Do not get up again, and like freak out on him. And that wouldn't help him or me. So it's like, okay, lowering the standards. Like, okay, maybe you need to go outside for a bit. Let's have you go in the other room. Let's go to the basement and sword fight with someone for 10 minutes and then come back to the dinner table. you know? So I think that's something, like lowering our standards and then also not expecting everything to be picture perfect. I had multiple Thanksgivings in foreign countries, and so you can't get things like cranberries and even maybe they did have turkey. I don't remember. In Ireland, I think it was maybe we were just too poor. We were missionaries with Net Ministries, so maybe we just couldn't afford a turkey. But I remember like doing a roasted chicken and like making do with that, and I made like a pumpkin pie, but it was like out of pumpkin that I roasted, and then, you know, and it may have been more like pumpkin. It was like a combination of pumpkins and like butternut squashes type thing. And it was good, but I had to change things. Like I couldn't do it like the normal American way. And I think that that's good too, is like lower our expectations. Like what do we want to happen? Okay, we want to spend time together as a family. We want to build each other up. We want to make memories. And so, lowering our standards and not expecting, especially children, to meet this very high standard. And like, this is what I need you to be doing. But yeah, giving them a lot of grace, which brings me to my next point, give grace. The next one is give grace. Like, give so much grace. Like, God is so good and so loving, and I am such a flawed, sinful human being, and I stuff up all the time. And I'm sure you're like me, and God gives us so much grace, and I think we need to give each other more grace, especially when we have family that have different beliefs than us or different views, or we just don't see eye to eye. Like, we just need to give them grace. We need to love them. I know one of the perks of Patreon, my patrons, we have this Marco Polo group, and we share a lot on it. And a few of the ladies were sharing their concerns and things that they wanted prayers for, people that I identify differently, and how to deal with that during the Christmas time or during Thanksgiving, like interacting with family members that live very different lives to what we live, and loving them. And what does that look like? And I think it's giving them grace. And this woman was lovely. This woman that was sharing about a cousin who is young. I want to say they're a teenager, but is identifying as a different sex than they were born, and is just very, very confused right now. And everyone else is going along with the confusion. And she's like, I want to love her where she is as a person, but I don't want to be adding fuel to the fire. I don't want to be lying to her. I want to love her, see her, not offend her. So she's, I forget the name, but say it's like normally Christopher and now is going by Chris. And so she's like, that's fine. I will easily call her, call her Chris. But now they've switched pronouns. So she's like, I'm just avoiding pronouns to make things easier, but just loving. But even as she was communicating with us, it was obvious that she loves this girl. And it's like, that's going to show. I can tell just in your concern for including her and making her part of the family. I'm just realizing these may be glaring at you, so I'll just take them off. But I love that. It's like giving her lots of grace in this and just loving and being supportive and helpful however you can. I think that's huge. And then giving our spouse more grace than we normally do. Our children, all those around us, our in-laws. We are raised in different families, and sometimes when our families come together, I think oftentimes we think like, okay, well, why aren't you reacting? I always find it interesting, things that And my family's different in the aspect that we're never with all of our family. Like, we're just with Matt's family, or we're just with my family because we live on opposite sides of the world. But he'll react to things from his parents, and I'm like, whoa, that's not what they meant. They just meant this. Or I'll react to things of my parents, and Matt's like, why are you reacting like that? I'm like, well, obviously, I know this is what he said, but he meant this. And he's like, whoa, I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. And it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I just have a childhood wound. I had a womb in childhood as well, but my wound, and I'm acting out of that wound. I'm acting out of that place of hurt. And so it's good to just give more grace and love the person in it, and extend grace to the other person. And then to have gratitude. Like, I know that's really what Thanksgiving's all about, is having gratitude, but I think Christmas too, like all through Advent, like we just need to be grateful for what we have. I feel like this is something that I'm constantly trying to instill in my family and my children. And every night at the dinner table, we go around and we say what we're grateful for, or what our favorite thing about today was. And it's amazing what, like often it's just something fun that they did that day, but other times it's like, I'm so grateful. We've been helping people in need a lot lately. And my kids praying for, like we were able to help someone not have an abortion. So like grateful for that. Like I'm grateful that this amazing woman now knows she's not alone and she didn't have an abortion. Like that's huge. That's huge for a 10-year-old to be thinking that at the dinner table, right? And then it sparks other conversations, and it's it gives them an attitude of gratitude too. Like let's be appreciative for things. I know in my own home, I tried to have our kids say thank you, but I know other people say your kids are very gracious. Like they're very, they're so appreciative whatever I'm doing. And if I give them something, like it's, oh, thank you so much, and it's not just about saying thank you, but it's like actually having a grateful heart is huge. And that's hard to teach, especially when our world tells us, no, we're entitled to more. We have the right to have abortions. We have the right to have free healthcare. We have the right for free college. We have the right for fill in the blank, whatever it is. But we're demanding this, and these are our rights. It's very different than being grateful. And so I think it's important for us to be grateful and and instill that in our kids and those around us. I had a journal at one point in life. I was suffering from postpartum depression, and a friend of mine had, I think she called it like her 1,000 Blessings journal. And it's like a little leather, I may even have it in my bag. I'll see. It's like this beautiful leather pouch that my friend, not pouch, it's a little leather journal, for lack of a better term. I have bells in here. It's just going to be loud. I'm not going to get it. But it's like this little, it's very little. It's like this big. It's a little leather notebook, and it's beautiful. A friend of mine made it for me. And I love it. And I just wrote one, and I just started numbering. I think I'm on like 900, 800. I don't even know what number I'm on now, but I've been doing it for a long time. And I go through seasons of doing it a lot and then stepping back and not doing it at all, but just writing down little things. Like I am so grateful for the sunset. I'm grateful I got out of bed and got dressed this morning. I'm grateful the baby's not screaming right now. I'm grateful that I have plenty of coffee, whatever it is, big things, little things, just what we're grateful for. And I think that, being grateful goes so far. That's my other thing. And then let's see, the other one is okay, so I did that one. All right, lower standards, give grace, have gratitude, and be authentic. Be authentic, be you. Don't try to be someone else. I think sometimes for holiday seasons, we try to, especially if we're like going to host Christmas or we're going to host Christmas morning and we're going to open presents and we stage it and try to make it look a certain way. Or as you're setting up your house for Advent, I know some people that like don't do any Christmas decorations all of Advent. And so they they just like white knuckle through. We're not having the Christmas tree until Galgete Sunday, I'm not saying that right. Galgete Sunday, and then they put the Christmas tree out, and then they put everything, and like do what works for your family. Like if you're one of those families that do that, great. But for our family, that doesn't work because I don't know. Like I think if we don't, and same with Christmas music. We've had seasons where we're like, no, it's Lent. We're only going to listen to Advent. It's Advent. We're only going to listen to like O Come Emmanuel and like Advent type songs. And then it's like, okay, but then when Christmas comes, do you actually listen to Christmas for all of Christmas season? If you do, that's awesome and amazing. But I find it's okay to listen to Christmas. We try to hold off till after Thanksgiving. So I think it was yesterday, my son was cleaning the kitchen and he's like, oh, we need Christmas music, and put it on. It's fine. Jesus isn't offended because you're playing Christmas music. Like, I think sometimes we can take things a little too, I don't know. We don't want to be of the world and we're like, we're not going to do that. It's like, but the world is rejoicing in Christ's birth. So we could be a part of it. We could celebrate. We could, I don't know. Yeah, but you need to be authentically you. Like if you're this family that does a certain thing, great, do it. If you're not, don't. That's okay. So here in Steubenville, if you live anywhere near us, I encourage you to come and check out the Nutcracker Village. It's so fun. We have these nutcrackers. I'll do a little video and put it up. Actually, I could probably put it up on YouTube too. I was going to say I could put it on Instagram. I could do both. But it's nutcrackers that are bigger, like my size or bigger, and they're gorgeous. Some are like famous characters. Others, like I went by a Franciscan nun as I was driving here. Pope John Paul II. Who else did I go by? A peacock. St. Nicholas. I'm trying to remember who's in front of the building. I don't even remember. I think it's Superman and Lois Lane. And so it's nutcrackers that are transformed as famous people through history or from books or movies or saints, which is really fun. And we do a lot of stuff. Steubenville does a lot of stuff for Christmas, and I love it. I love, they'll do face painting. The old fort has stuff set up. There's, I'm trying to remember what day we do it. We do lanterns one day where we meet at one church and basically do a procession down 4th Street, which is like our main street, so all down Main Street, and everybody has lanterns. St. Nicholas is leading us, and there's someone with him. I forget his name, but he has like a black beard, and maybe it's a German tradition. I'm not really sure, but he has cinders, and he used to be the one to give out coals or something. He lived a very bad life, but now he helps St. Nicholas. I don't know the story, but the two of them are there and giving out gold coins to all the kids. And we walk down the street, and there's like a giant bell. They, bang, and we just sing Christmas carols, and it's beautiful. And then we go to another church where there's a nativity set out front. There's a manger, and St. Nicholas tells us the reason for the season and says, this is the true king. This is who Christmas is all about. So come kneel in the creche and say a prayer to baby Jesus and thank him for his life or for his goodness. And remember, this is what it's all about. And then kids are giving hot chocolate, and it's just fun. It's just really fun, and I enjoy it. That's one of my favorite tradition things that we do here. But yeah, being authentically you and owning it. We did this Polar Express train ride the other night. It was horrible. It was like Matt said, it just wasn't fun. We were on a train, and some of the kids were dressed in their pajamas, and it's supposed to be like this big Christmas thing. But there was a teenage girl that didn't look very happy to be there, and had a tray of hot chocolate and did, instead of dancing, how Tom Hanks is doing flips and dancing up and down the aisle and the hot chocolate, and there's music. So I think they were trying to redo that, but it was one girl paid minimum wage who could kind of care less and would hand cups of hot chocolate to people. And there was lights outside, but the fluorescent train lights were inside. They're playing music, but they weren't. I don't know. It wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't nice music that we could sing along to. It was really bad. And Matt said, he's like, this is what we do when we don't have culture. When we don't, like what I just was talking about, Steubenville downtown, the St. Nicholas thing that we do. It's it was kind of like a grassroots. I don't even know who started it, but the first year we went, I want to say there was maybe 10 families. It wasn't a lot, but some of the families are really big and they have a lot of kids, but there was 20 people there, maybe. So it was 20 people, but it was enjoyable, and someone was dressed up. It was fun. We sang. Last year, it was 100 people. We filled a good chunk of the street, It was really beautiful. And then they did the Nelsons had a hay, I forget what you call it, like a hayride, right? And so we got to sit on it, and they drove you around the street, and you could see all the nutcrackers and drink your hot chocolate. And it was super fun. It was so enjoyable. And it's this is building culture. We sang beautiful songs, and the kids had bells that they were ringing and lanterns they were holding up. Some of them we bought at TJ Maxx, and it was a cheap lantern. Others made beautiful lanterns with wax paper, so the tea light would shine through, and it was gorgeous. But it was, I don't know, it was beautiful, and it was we were a part of something. And this Polar Express was horrible and not a part of something, but people are smiling, and I'm they can't really be enjoying this. They've got to be as miserable as us. And it wasn't cheap. We spent a lot of money on it, and our friends that convinced us to go with them were we're so sorry. This is horrible. Like, that's okay. But that morning the next morning we went to Mass and we were out of town, and this priest gave an amazing homily, but then he did a Eucharistic procession around town. And that was beautiful. It's like, okay, this is what it's all about. Like, we can have, it was beautiful to follow the Blessed Sacrament going around, and even people in their cars looking at us like, what are these people doing? Like, we were just walking around a couple blocks, and praying. But him holding up the Blessed Sacrament and blessing like each corner of the town was just powerful. And it's like, okay, let's be authentically us, right? Our Greek Orthodox Church has a Greek Orthodox festival. We love going to it. Others that are non-religious love going. I'm like, we love this. We love these people. Like, you have culture. You have stuff going on, So I think we need to own it. We need to own Christmas, and we know what it's all about. There's so many people that have no idea. We own it, we know, and we can tell people. Like, I love talking to people about St. Nicholas, especially little kids. Like, they're like, yeah, Santa Claus. And I'm like, yeah, do you know who that's actually named after? And like teaching them about what, he's a real person. And it's amazing. Like, we have the richness, so let's share it and be authentically us in this. And then the last thing, number 5, to have a thriving holiday season is it's not about you. Christmas is not about you. It's not about me. We went to this Mass one time, and our friend was altar serving, and her name was Ruthie. But at the time, Peter was probably 3 or 4, and Ruthie was altar serving. It wasn't her fault. I think the priest was trying something new and was like ringing bells multiple times during the Eucharistic liturgy that like it's not supposed to be wrong, or maybe I can't remember. I don't know if it was like doing a different type of ring, but it was very distracting. And Peter was 3 or 4, and he starts yelling. The first time it was, shh, shh, Rufy, it's not about you. And everybody in the church just started laughing. And I was like, Peter, shh, quiet. Rufy, shh. And then after Mass, he got mad at her and was like, Rufy, it's not about you. It's about Jesus. And like, he was so frustrated with her as the altar server. It wasn't her fault, but they were ringing the bells a lot more than normal or in a different way. It was distracting. And this little kid saw it, and he's like, it's not about you. It's about Jesus. Could you not do the weird bell thing that you were doing? And she wasn't making it up. Like, I do think the priest was telling her to do it. She was like the head altar server or whatever. But I just thought it was really funny. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's not about you. Like, Christmas is not about you. It's not about me. Advent's not about us. It's about Jesus. It's about preparing for the birth of our Lord. Like, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's not about the presents. It's not about the gifts. And I think it's so easy to get wrapped up in that and making sure that we make sure our kids have the greatest whatever, or that we get something. But really just encouraging y'all and me as well to remember it's not about us, and just give it over to Jesus, right? And like, all right, Lord, like, this is about you. Let me just rejoice in you and this, the gift of life that you came into the world as a baby in a manger because you loved us so much. And just looking at it through the eyes of Christ. So yeah, that's my little few cents. Hello, yay, feel free to write in the comments. I forgot I was going live so people can write stuff. And I would love you guys to give your advice below in this video. Either share what you also think would be good to make this holiday season like just blessed and less stress. Another thing I'm doing for those of you that are homeschooling as well is I've decided my kids and I are going to try Christmas school this year. Sarah McKenzie over at Read Aloud Revival has this great thing called Christmas School, and we're using Tommy DePablo's books, and it's really beautiful. And they've the Read Aloud Revival ladies have put together this amazing, it's just fun, this amazing thing to follow and to have conversations. And so Sarah McKinsey was reading an old book. I think it was called The Country Angel, but it was lovely. She like read it and we watched it, we talked about it, we answered some questions. And so it's kind of a fun way to, not stress and try to get everything done before whatever the set date is. We are flying down to Texas to be with my family. I know a lot of you have been praying for my sister Meredith. Thank you so much. Please continue to pray for her. She has brain cancer, and then my grandmother is just getting up there. And then my other sister just had a baby on Thanksgiving Day, which is so exciting. So I just feel like it's really important to be together as a family. So we're going down to spend a couple of weeks with them before we then road trip from Dallas up to St. Louis. Any of y'all that are going to be at Seek, I look forward to seeing y'all. It's going to be great. We'll be at Seek the entire time because Matt and I are doing so many different things. We have something starting on the 1st all the way through the 5th. So we'll be there all of Seek, the whole Frad clan, and I look forward to it. But so also just trying to mentally prepare for that. And so, participating in Advent, getting excited about it, but not putting too much pressure on myself, like trying to lower standards and be like, okay, what can we realistically do? We also have been looking after a baby a lot on and off. And so realizing, having a 3-month-old or 4-month-old and not sleeping through the night, like it changes things, right? And so trying to give more grace to my family in this time. And I started something about a month ago or 2 months ago, where on Mondays I do an optional, you can do your normal homeschool day, or we can do Reading Mondays. I just call it Reading Mondays. We can do audiobooks. We can just sit and snuggle on the couch and just read books, or a combination of all of the above, but we're not going to worry about our normal subjects. And it's been really beautiful and freeing to just enjoy that time with my family. And I think Christmas schooling will be the same as we do this. And we're still learning, we're still reading beautiful things, but it's letting us enter more into, hopefully enter more into the Advent season. And so I hope all of you had a very happy Thanksgiving with your families. I know some people are still doing it. I know a lot of people that do Thanksgiving or a Friendsgiving with like friends right after and still like do a big meal and enjoy it. So I hope you enjoy it, have a good time, and hopefully these tips and tricks will help you out right below. I also want to say thank you so much for our generous supporters, patreon.com/amongthelilies. I really appreciate having conversations with y'all. If you have a topic you want me to cover, I have people all the time write to me on Instagram, Facebook, mainly those two platforms, or on here requesting topics. And it's like, I'm not able to interact as much with y'all on these platforms, but I'm very good. And I also have a team of people that help me interact over on Patreon. So patreon.com/amongthelilies. That's where if you have something you really want me to cover, I will cover it. And I also get some episodes out early over there. And we have an amazing series on sex and theology of the body and some other beautiful things that we're working on over on Patreon. So patreon.com/amongthelilies. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. All right. God bless. Bye-bye.